Get your wine, whatever you want, get ready because we are going to have a great episode today. Happy Friday. I'm Cassandra Gaines, your host of Mad Gaines Live here on Freight Waves. And today we are welcoming Sarah Ruffcorn with us, who is the president of Trinity Logistics. I'm excited to have her on and learn more about her because I think that she is a special creature that is an anomaly. Hi, Sarah. Sarah, you look so good.
Oh, thank you. So do you. Thank you for having me.
You got like the perfect background and you've got like the greenery.
Yeah, they did a good job on this. I can take the credit.
And how was the production team when you talked to them at Freight Waves? Were they nice to you? The boiler room boys is what I call them.
Yes, they were.
Okay, just checking.
They even gave me like pointers on my camera. Yeah.
Oh, they never give me pointers.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh my goodness. All right, well, that's good to know. Well, thank you for joining us. I'm excited to have you here. I can't remember where I saw your name. I think it was something TIA related. And I was like, oh my God, a female in the industry. I've only got like a small handful of them. I'm like, come on, welcome to the show. Be my friend. So I take it you're very engaged in TIA.
I am, yes. Yep, for sure. And I have been for a long time. Trinity's been a part of the TIA for a long time. So when I first started and I went to my first TIA conference, you're right, there was hardly any women. Now there's a lot more. So there's a lot of women joining the ranks, which is always good to see.
Yeah, that is good. So tell me a little bit about what you were doing before you went into the transportation industry or before you were at Trinity, because I couldn't find that information on LinkedIn when I was creeping on you.
It's because I don't have much of a before Trinity story. I actually started right out of college. So I was, in college and in high school, I was doing everything from wedding planning to working in the library to coffee shops, all the normal jobs that you do in high school and college. And so, and then I started Trinity the week after I graduated school. So I've been here ever since.
Oh, that's so great. When you were in college, what did you think you wanted to do?
Yeah, so I initially was going to go to school to be a fashion designer of all things. And then ended up in freight world. So my major ended up being in communications and my minor in fashion. Communications in like organizational communication and how organizations can be healthy and communicate well and align and plan. And, of course, that links really well to the role I'm in today. But at the time, I really wanted to pursue fashion. So now I just get to move.
Do you yeah, exactly. Do you do anything? Do you find yourself with any fashion related hobbies, or did you let that go completely? Did freight take over your life entirely?
Yeah, between freight and family, fashion kind of went to the wayside. I definitely like to still do a little bit here and there on the side, just interior design or that kind of thing. But yeah, I have done nothing with the fashion minor at all.
Oh, who knows? You never know. One day you might just be like, I'm done with freight. I'm going to go into fashion. Right. I'm going to go to Paris. Right. So you started out at Trinity right from college, and what kind of position was it?
Yeah, so much like a lot of people in the industry, started off booking freight, entry level. What at the time we called it dispatch. Now we call it logistics specialist. So I, got really good at it and developed a lot of great carrier relationships. They really became my friends and was able to really help serve our shipper customers, by obviously pairing those carriers up with their needs. And so, I loved it. I thought it was great. It's a new challenge every day in that role. So, I started off there.
Because it's a very hard role. Probably one of the most difficult in the industry is being a carrier rep. It is stressful. So then you were moving. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But you were moving up through the company and growing. And how long has it been?
20 years, actually. Last month, I have been at Trinity.
So
Yeah. And lots of roles between here and there, booking freight and building those carrier relationships. And, then I was team lead of a group of team members that did that for some of our national accounts. And then actually went into account management and opening a new office. That turned into leading one of our largest regional service centers for a while. And then also overseeing a lot of our technology initiatives. So at the time, EDI was kind of a thing in our industry, believe it or not. And so I was in charge of those EDI transactions and those relationships, making sure the technology was all matched up, and then really oversaw several technology initiatives and implementations through the years. So heavily involved in technology, and then took a sidestep and went into our HR team and led our HR group for a while, and recruiting and retention and learning all about the HR world, which was a great learning experience for sure. And then moved from there really into like a more strategic role, overseeing our technology to our shippers. And then as COO, moved into a COO seat before I moved into the president seat. So yeah,
it's been good for you. That's an amazing story.
A lot of different roles through the years, which keeps things very exciting, but it also has helped me really understand different parts of the business in a really
I love it because when people complain to you and they don't know you that well, or they're like, oh, Sarah doesn't know, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, no, I actually do know. I worked in your role, or I worked in a role that was very similar to yours, so I know exactly what goes on over there. I love that. Probably many people love that too, because they know you can relate to them. Do you think so? Nowadays, people jump around in their positions a lot, and often, and I myself are the same. I have every 2 years I've bounced to a new company before I was doing what I was doing, and it was for me and my career. It was the only way to advance my career, to get more pay, to get the promotions that I wanted. You're an anomaly. So what is your advice when they say to you, should I just stay and grind it out, or should I, like, what do you think when you see somebody's resume that people are bouncing around, they ask you what they should do with their career? What are your thoughts on that topic?
Yeah, I mean, it always depends. I always say it depends. And, we do a lot of leadership coaching here at Trinity as well. And even people, in the industry, we, obviously are very involved in TIA, like I said. And so it's one of those things where it really depends on the situation you're in and what you want out of life. What are you trying to get to? What is your ultimate achievement? What is it that would fulfill your dream? And sometimes the companies, that we work for have those opportunities available, and they're growing and they're thriving. And so you get those opportunities as those, as positions open up and as, the team grows. But then there's other, opportunities or companies that just doesn't happen. Those opportunities aren't there. And so it really does make sense to make a move. And we've even had people here that, they want to pursue different careers, whether it's, I had one fabulous team member, and he ended up going back to school for a law degree and becoming an attorney. It's like, well, we don't have an attorney here, but let me help you along that journey of what your successful dream job looks like, So yeah, it absolutely
that's
depends.
Amazing.
Right. Yeah.
I'm really glad you said that. I was kind of worried that you were going to be like, yes, you should sit there. You should grind it out, blah, 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 blah. Only because I'm like you. I think it depends. Because some companies like yours have leadership opportunities, and they move people around and they support people. But there are other companies that don't have that kind of environment, which is nothing wrong with that either. And then you've got the dynamics within your team, who you're reporting to, what the job is like. There's just so many factors that play into it. And it kind of is tough when I hear people say, oh no, you should be staying in one spot and being dedicated to a company. Especially when companies are not dedicated as much. I'm not talking about your company, but in general, companies are quick to lay off. They're quick to fire. And this is just corporate America. There's nothing anybody can do about it. So to me, employees being the same way kind of makes sense. But What do I know? I am not a president of a big company like yourself, but I'm glad to hear that you understand the dynamics, of course, and you know that your career track is, although it's amazing, it may not be for everybody else's. So I want to take a step back. I have a question for you. I have never met somebody from Delaware. Are you from Delaware? Are you in Delaware at the moment?
I am.
Oh, okay. Where are you from?
In Delaware, but I am not from Delaware originally. So I'm actually from Iowa. I grew up in Burlington, Iowa. So I always say corn-fed and raised. So yeah, right in the heart of America. And I moved. So I went to school at Western Illinois University, and my professor at the time was a consultant for Trinity. And so that was the link that got me out here to Delaware. So.
Oh, that makes sense. So when you got like,
it's not a big city at all. It is very much like Iowa.
Oh, it's not?
No, it is not. It is corn country and beaches, and especially where we are in southern Delaware. Northern Delaware is definitely more city life. But where we are in southern Delaware, it is very rural and it's beautiful. So, yeah.
I thought it would be all city. I thought it would just mesh into, wait, where is it? I don't even know where the heck Delaware is. Somewhere near DC?
Across a big bridge.
No, wait, DC.
Yep. So the northern part of Delaware is a little more like a suburb of Philadelphia. So think of it kind of that way, and then it just branches down from there. But yeah,
southern Delaware. Okay, that makes sense. I've noticed that the Boiler Room Boys are usually chatty in my ear. And they have said nothing because I have a feeling they don't know where Delaware is either. I think that they have forgotten that. They said it's buy one, get one bonus. It's buy one, get one wings day at Buffalo Wild Wings. So they're busy right now, which clearly they're not. They look like they're working, but smarty pants. So, okay, tell me about, what is life like in Delaware? What do you guys do? So you have a family. What do you guys do for fun? Do you have a big piece of land with no neighbors? I'm just baffled by this.
Yes, we actually live fairly close to the beach. So in Lewis, Delaware, which is a beautiful town. Yes, it's lovely. And there's lots of bike trails. And so we love to bike around town, bike to Rehoboth. There's lots of bike trails everywhere. And so you can bike to the beach. And so, it's great because we're about probably 3 minutes from the beach. You can drive on the beaches here. And so we can pack all of our gear and just drive right onto the beach and hang out there. We do that a lot during the summertime.
Oh, you lucky bum.
Yeah. Which is so great. Yeah, we love that. And so, between a lot of bike riding, we love to, go downtown to the little shops and shop down there. And then also they have some amazing restaurants. So that kind of tends to be what we do. My kids are involved in sports as well. So there's always sports activities and things kind of going on, but it's a great community. It's kind of like a little Hallmark town. Yeah, exactly.
So I love that. And you're a quick shot to different large cities if you want to be part of the large city life. But I was curious, when you are trying to consider, or you're trying to convince somebody to come move to Delaware, does everybody have the same reaction as me? Are they all like, what? Where's Delaware?
It's hilarious. It's actually very funny. So we'll have people fly in to come, to our corporate office and visit, and everyone, especially if they fly in at night, there's no street lights. And everyone thinks there's going to be like street lights the whole day. No, we live in the country. Like, there's a ton of country roads and back roads. Like, there are no street lights here. So everyone is always very surprised by that.
It's wild.
Yeah. There's actually technically more people. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
I love that. So why is Trinity based there? Who founded it, and what's Trinity's story?
Yeah, so the Banning family started Trinity back in 1979. So we've been around a while. They were actually started Trinity over in Federalsburg, Maryland, which is not too far away, maybe 20 miles away from where we are. So that's how it started. We've been in Delaware, based out of Delaware now for well over 40 years. It's a great community to be able to raise a family in, and the Banning family all lives right around this area. And so that's why it started. That's why we stayed. Yeah.
And you guys have grown a lot. So tell me about Good.
Yep. So now we're actually a part of the Burris family. And so the Burris family purchased Trinity a little over 3 years ago now. And the Burris family actually all lives in Delaware as well. So for the most part. So yeah, so now we probably...
Do they have like terminates, like they have fights or anything between the two families? Are they a rival family? Like, is there any juicy gossip for us? Oh, man.
No, there's not. There's like and they go back several generations. Believe it or not, like their great grandfathers knew each other in the business because Delaware is a small state. Everybody knows everybody. So it's really crazy how those family businesses have come together after all those years. But yeah, it's pretty.
It's some drama.
Very wonderful story. I know there's like no drama.
Yeah, and you're like, thank God, I don't want any drama.
I know. I'm thankful. I'm actually pretty thankful that there's no drama. Yeah, 100%.
I would be too. So tell me about some of the technology you mentioned earlier. You had been in charge of the technology and been involved with it, but then as it's grown, it's become a major part of the business. Tell me, what does that mean? Like, what kind of technology? Do you guys have your own TMS, different variations of different offerings?
Yeah, so technology everywhere has evolved over the years, right? So we have pretty much always had our own operating system. There was a couple brief stints where we were on other systems, but we actually have a proprietary system that we have developed and are continuing to develop and evolve that system. We have a CTO now that oversees the technology initiatives. It's not me anymore, thank goodness. So now oversees our technology initiatives as our CTO, and just very thankful for that. As it is growing, as you know, especially in our space, between all the data science, all the data reporting, that's just really ramping up a lot. In our space. So that initiative as well as the security and hardware, which, as you know, those are a lot of the things that keep us up at night, is just making sure that we're secure at all times. And then just making sure too that we're constantly evolving with the business and continuing to provide the efficiencies and the service levels that we need to for our team members, our agents, as well as our shippers and our carriers. So it is expanded a lot through the years. We used to have like 3 people in our department that would just kind of make sure we have computers that work and our emails were working and all that kind of thing. And obviously now a lot different.
Yeah, you have a whole team, and the data science part is really cool. Of course, I love data science, but it's always interesting and helpful to have them as part of your team to help you guys gauge what's around the corner and what's been happening. So for those of you who are just joining us, I'm a little late, but Sarah Ruffcorn is with us. She's from Trinity Logistics, which we were just talking about, is in Delaware. And she has been with the company for a very long time, and she's president now. And I'm curious, so when there are certain categories that people like to put brokerages in, especially shippers, they're like, oh, I'm a food shipper, so I go to my food shipper brokers, or I am a LTL, so I go to my LTL brokers and full truckload, or I like the cradle to grave brokers or shippers who say that they don't want a lot of nonsense. It's not nonsense, but say, where do you guys kind of put yourself, if any category? You guys are pretty big, so maybe there's no category.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So there's a lot of brokerages that have niche markets that they really focus on. And for us, we have a little bit of a different mix. So we have 7 regional service centers, which are all team members in all of those regional service centers. And then we also have 130 agents in our network. So we are essentially half and half. We're a half team member, what we call regional service center employees, and then we have our agency model, which is the other half. And so each of those different offices within our agent mix, each of those different offices within our regional service center mix have specific niche markets. So it's not overall for us. It really depends on, if you have produce freight or refrigerated freight that needs that special tender loving care. There's certain subject matter experts that we have within our network that handle that kind of business really well. And then we have our overdimensional heavy haul niche markets as well, and we have offices that thrive in that environment and our subject matter experts that have been doing that for 20 years plus. So it really depends on, the specific offices and the different regions that we cover. So yeah, we cover the gamut. We really do. It's I always say it's like the size of.
What was your favorite area of freight when you worked in that area?
Yeah, so I covered a lot of food. I covered a lot of food. Like my carriers handled in and out of Jersey, multi-drop, 5-stop, refrigerated freight. Yeah,
that's difficult, right? Really, oh my goodness.
It was, which was great when you have amazing carriers that you worked with that knew how to handle that business really well, right, and you trusted them to handle that really well. And so it was a great partnership for a lot of years. In fact, they still every once in a while call in and I still talk to them. So yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's great.
Has that area of freight changed much since when you were in that role?
Has in some ways
at all, or operation wise, or carrier quality wise?
Yeah, I think in some ways it's definitely evolved. There's just been a lot of new carriers that have entered the market. And so in that way, I feel like that is a lot different now than it was 20 years ago. I'm sure it was happening, but maybe I was just new and didn't realize, or pick up on that as much. But there are a lot of new carriers in the market now. And so I do feel like that mix has changed a bit. And it is a little bit different when you're dealing with some of those carriers that maybe don't have 10 years of experience behind them or more, so I definitely see that, kind of as a trend, I guess you could say, kind of in the carrier mix that is out there. Other than that, a lot of it is very much the same. I mean, now there's a lot more technology, right? The carriers can go on to a host of different platforms and apps and, automatically track and trace, and they can go find
and temperature readouts
and where the next best fuel stop's going to be for the lowest gas prices. I mean, there's all these different apps now that they have that has changed dramatically from 20 years ago. I mean, we literally had the big atlases out on our desk, making sure that everyone was where they needed to be. I mean, we had PC Miler, I think then, but it looked a lot different than it does now. Yeah. So there was a lot of atlas work that we still did 20 years ago. And so now we don't even buy atlases now, right? Who buys an atlas? Like a paper atlas?
We don't. You want to know something really funny is I worry. I'm like, if we ever have an apocalypse or something happens where there's no more internet, and I'm like, we're all going to be going for the atlases and the maps and everything. That's not the first thing we're going to go through, but I think about that often. I'm like, atlases become valuable again. But now nobody uses them.
I don't memorize phone numbers, right? Everything's like a click of a button, or I pull up, my address book and it's just click. I don't memorize anybody's phone number anymore. Not
even a few digits do I even recognize people's numbers. I'm like, no, I don't even see your number anymore. Nope. I mean, that used to be a big deal. We used to work on memorizing our phone numbers.
Yep. Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. And I actually wonder, do your kids know your phone number by heart? Would they know it? Yeah, right.
They do, because I made them memorize it, because I'm like, here's the deal. If you're
I would too.
You've got to be able to know my digits. You've got to know how to get a hold of me. Yeah.
And they're like, sure. What?
Yeah, for sure.
They're like, just memorize them or no dinner for you. So tell us what is around. We just have a few minutes left. What is around the corner for Trinity? What are the big things you guys are working on, and anything exciting going on?
Yeah, we've got several big initiatives that we're working on. We always call them kind of our anchors, our key strategic anchors. And so we always set those out every year. The big things that we're working on are, in the way of, optimizing and just improving our technology. That's always a big one, and just supporting in our business overall. And so we have some exciting rollouts that we're going to be making here in the next 6 months. And so that's very exciting for the carriers, for our shippers, and also for our team members. We've got several initiatives that are rolling out here in the next 6 months. And then our other key strategic initiative that is always in the forefront for us is our culture. Making sure that we are finding and hiring the right talent on our team, that they truly live our guiding values and believe in them. And so that's a huge initiative for us too, partnering with different universities and ensuring that we are doing the best we can at onboarding and integrating those new hires into our culture. And so that's a big initiative for this year. And then just making sure that we're really truly servicing through we call it the Trinity experience, but making sure that we're really focused on our Trinity experience for our shippers and our carriers, because they are the lifeblood of what makes things happen every single day in our business. And we don't take one day for granted with them. And we just need to do everything we can to make sure we're servicing them well. So those are the key.
Smooth, Sarah. That was smooth. I will tell you that. Yep, I love that. And I love you brought up values too, only because I'm a big believer in company values. I feel like I've been successful in my career because I've adhered to the company values that I worked at. But I think that you're one of the first people on my show who's brought up values, and they are the essence of your company. So thank you for joining us. I wish I could sit here and talk to you for like another half an hour. I hope to see you, by the way, at TIA. They have a conference coming up, and so does FreightWaves in Chattanooga. Yay! We'll see you then. Thank you for joining us, and everybody else, have a great weekend.
This